while it was not Earth humanity's fault that these false teachings were introduced on Earth. This source says that Earth humanity has been responsible to a large extent for maintaining and spreading the lies and evil. OM provides more on this topic in the Prophet Enoch's account of how the Earth human was corrupted, and allowed himself to be corrupted by the sons and daughters of heaven, as I explain later. In And Still They Fly, Guido Moosbrugger writes, the interest of the Pleiadians in the destiny of Earth can first be traced to historical events of the distant past. The Pleiadians are descendants of our common ancestors who originated in the Lyra and Vega systems, from whom the Pleiadians descended and inhabited our planet a very long time ago. As a result, they influenced the development of the Earth population in both negative and positive respects. Unfortunately, they caused a great deal of suffering by grievous wrongdoing. Nonetheless, the inhabitants of Earth on their own initiative all too readily accepted them and promoted them until they eventually became so malicious that we still suffer the consequences of their various degeneracies to this very day. And so the Pleiadians feel partly responsible for assisting us in correcting these things. Guido Moosbrugger also relates that the reverse side of the coin is that without premature contact with the knowledge and capabilities of the extraterrestrials, Earth human would still be vegetating along as cavemen in the Stone Age, included in the extensive contact notes from conversations between Billy Meier and the Pleiadians, and to be found within other of the FIGU texts, are startling accounts of some of the history of extraterrestrial involvement and intervention on this planet. Online, at the FIGU website, you can start to get an appreciation of the enormity of the given history by reading Contact 251. This also provides an important insight into the cosmic context within which we, here on Earth, now fit, and it helps us understand how we may be viewed by advanced extraterrestrial races who possess a far greater cosmic perspective. In OM Canon 52, our prophet explains in more general terms. The gods of the earth were humans who came out of the depths of the universes from strange systems, galaxies and worlds, and they wrongly raised themselves up over the people on earth, calling themselves God the Creator. They produced sects and religions on which the earth human became dependent and believing rather than knowing and thinking. The gods demanded that the earth human worship them as creator, and this way the earth human would be enslaved and dependent on the gods for all time. Every god produced his own religion and set himself as the creator over the people, who fell into belief in him. And many of the gods were degenerated and malicious and were possessed of a greed for might and all evil. They allowed laws of death, punishment and corruption, and they murdered as the mood took them. And the human of the earth was ignorant and did not know the truth, and so the people followed the god of their religion. They fell in the darkness of the belief that God is the creator and the producer of life, because not one god told the truth, that they, like the human, were human. And so the knowledge remained hidden that God was a human and that creation, the highest power of life, stands over him. While OM begins with clear descriptions of a genuine Ishwish, the word God means JSCHWJSCH/Ishwish, who is a true, human, king of wisdom. Canon 52 is dedicated to spelling out very clearly the difference between gods who were humans, who misrepresented themselves to earth people as creators, and the creation, which is the highest power of all. This section does speak of God in the singular, but appears to describe the situation regarding gods in general. It does not specifically indicate a particular god. However, this source does make it clear elsewhere that, for instance, Yahweh, the God of the Old Testament, more than qualifies for this Canon 52 description. The Pleiadian woman, Semyes, said to Billy Meier on their 39th contact, "Terrestrials refer to him as the God from the Bible, but we named him Jehovah the Unjust and Cruel." His death took place approximately 2,150 years ago. He was a very evil and power-hungry life form who ruled during the same period as another, kind Ishwish, and who led countless human beings on earth to death and destruction. The capitalization of the G in God in my work is as a result of it being positioned at the beginning of the sentence. In German, the word Gott is always written with a capital G. This explanation includes the following points. God was a might-greedy space traveler, a human who with evil might and with barbaric laws and directives attempted to control everything. But the creation is peace and love, and only its laws and directives guarantee life. God has only human knowledge and is full of illogic valor and logic, as can only be with a human, while the creation is wise and full of unceasing wonder. The creation is the highest and most perfect, as are its laws and directives, but God is so imperfect, as only a human can be, because he orders belief, revenge, and imperfection. The laws and directives of creation are uniform for all life and carry weight entirely universally in love, but the laws and directives of God carry weight only where he governs, and where the people are slaves to him. In And Still They Fly, Guida writes a very helpful description of creation. Creation is the most tremendous mass of pure spirit energy existing in our universe. Creation is the greatest and most powerful elementary force in the entire universe, inconceivable in its knowledge, wisdom, truth, love, logic, and justice. Creation is the originator of all creations, which means that it created all the worlds and everything pertaining thereto, and is thus the being and non-being of life. OM contains an account of how people from the far reaches of space came to Earth thousands of years ago, and how some of them, against the knowledge and orders of their leader, mingled with the primitive people already on Earth. This act was forbidden by their Ishwish, and it resulted in a great deal of evil and corruption of the people, and set and trained the conditions for, and the beginnings of, the cults and religions. This following account comes from the section in OM described as the retransmission of original writings by the prophet Enoch, a version of which apparently in a greatly falsified form is known by Bible scholars and others as the Book of Enoch, a book which was left out of the Christian Bible because, despite the distortions, it still came too close to the truth. Canon 31 verse 42 says that Enoch carried out his obligation to the humankind of the earth, yet he was mocked by the fools, as is the prophet of the new time. The Ishwish explains that Enoch taught his people at the age of 40. This is presumably when he told them the below story. He was born as an earth human and prophet 9,308 years before the time of the prophet Jemanuel, and therefore 11,245 years before the prophet of the new time. Therefore he was wholly an earth human through his birth on earth. However, his origin as a previous reincarnation of the same spirit form was on Luzon, which is a world very far from earth. The following events, which I related in incomplete form, but with a main storyline intact, seemingly occurred much earlier, 378. 418 years before Enoch's first birth on earth.